Africa gave architecture to the world. The oldest building systems came from Africa. In mainstream architectural studies, typology of house forms are one of the ways that scholars have analyzed African structures. These are rectangular, square, oval, and lodge-based plans. The following house form typologies are observed. 1. Round plan, freestanding, diameter less than height, adobe or stone walls, stone foundation, thatched conical or trumpet-shaped roof. 2. Round plan, freestanding, diameter equal to height roof of poles, leaning against central framework. Poles encased by dry stonework, grass or turfs at base. 3. Round plan, freestanding, diameter equal to or greater than height. Walls of mud and or wattle, bamboo or palm fronds, thatched conical roof often with veranda. 4. Round oval or rectangular plan with hemispherical or lozenge-shaped profile, skin covering usually associated with cattle kraals. 5. Rectangular plan, freestanding framework of 1, 4 parallel arches. 6. Rectangular plan tent, framework of 2, 4 rows of parallel forked sticks surmounted by horizontal crosspieces, skins or blankets as covering, occasionally arches. 7. Round plan, freestanding, conical roof and no walls, framework of straight sticks, sometimes thatched. 8. Round plan, freestanding, framework of flexible poles embedded in ground and tied under tension, known as beehive type, usually convex, thatch of banana leaves, more usually of grass or reeds, sometimes low perimeter wall, sometimes central support. 9. Round plan, freestanding, 2 stories high, walls dressed in stone, slightly domed mud and pole ceiling, thatched roof. 10. Round plan, freestanding, 2 stories high, walls of small round boulders set in mud mortar, external staircase, walled courtyard, 2-story porch, thatched roof. 11. Round plan, freestanding, flat roof, walls of mud or mud and straw, flat roof of poles and mud and straw. 12. Round plan, freestanding, shell mud roof and no walls, slightly convex profile encased in surrounding walls. 13. Oval plan, freestanding, asymmetrical peaked thatched roof supported by conical mud pillar and mud arch, walls of mud and wattle. 14. Oval plan, freestanding, mud and or wattle walls, thatched saddleback roof with semi-conical ends, sometimes on stilts. 15. Round or oval plan, freestanding, correlated stone construction, untrimmed sandstone blocks, doleritic boulders or trimmed doleritic. 16. Round plan, 1, 2 or 3 stories in height, built coalescing to form tower houses, adobe bricks, flat roof and upper floors of poles and straw mud. 17. Crown plan, concentric circles, freestanding central court or impluvium, adobe walls, thatched saddleback roof. 18. Square plan, freestanding, conical roof, adobe brick walls and palm fronds, thatched roof of grass or reeds. 19. Rectangular plan, sometimes freestanding, thatched saddleback or lean-to roof, walls of planks, bamboo, cane matting, roof thatch of palm leaf mats, reeds, bark palm fronds. 20. Rectangular plan, arranged contiguously around a central square open kraal, walls of wattle or stone and mud, flat or wagon-shaped mud, and wattle roof supported on forked uprights. Known as Tembe styles. 21. Rectangular plan, freestanding, thatched saddleback roof buildings are pillared facing a court, adobe bricks. 22. Rectangular plan, thatched saddleback roof, units built around court or impluvium having continuous roof, adobe walls. 23. Rectangular plan, adobe brick walls, flat or vaulted roof with palm fronds, buildings arranged in walled courtyards. 24. Rectangular plan units, adobe bricks or puddled walls, flat adobe roof reinforced with wood and palm fronds. 25. Square plan, freestanding, walls of poles or palm fronds and mud, hopped roof with grass or thatched reeds. 26. Square plan, freestanding, thatched hip roof framework of flexible poles embedded in ground and tied at apex in tension, thatched roof of grass, carved door frames. 27. Rectangular plan, freestanding, walls of roughly dressed stone in mud mortar, reinforced with horizontal wooden beams and short round cross pieces. 28. Rectangular plan, freestanding, with stone rubble and cement walls, thatched roof, multi-story, often with elaborately carved wood doors. 29. Rectangular plan, freestanding, thatched roof of palm leaf mats, sometimes with two long sides lapped over other two. Walls of wattle and adobe, sometimes with carved wooden doorposts, sometimes on stilts. 30. Square plan, tall pyramidal thatched roof, thatch broad leaves. 31. Cave houses, sometimes small courtyard in front surrounded by mud wall or fence, walls and daub wall, sometimes built across mouth of cave. 32. Underground or semi-underground, dug-in rectangular buildings, sometimes with excavated passageway in front, walls of mortarized stone, mud bricks, flat or slightly wagon-shaped roof of earth mud, and poles supported on forked uprights. David Hughes developed Afrocentric architecture based upon the analysis of the built environment with respect to historical and cultural considerations. The historical element of analysis is based upon the precedent in monuments and ancient civilizations. It includes considerations for spatiality, proxemics, house form typology, and tectonics, which is the art of construction both in relation to use and artistic design. The cultural element is based upon customs, ceremonies, living patterns, and physical artifacts. Environmental analysis is based upon geology, climate, and physical features. Architectural theory is based upon normative theory centered in value judgments, and positive theory centered in scientific and systematic applied criteria. The positivist position is based upon the focus in semiotics and abstractive derivations used in the manifestation and analysis of architectural form and image. Hughes' approach is positivist and is based upon the analysis of semiology, which are cultural symbols. These are an analytical, evaluative foundation for conclusion in the theory. This is to move towards a multidimensional approach of life and customs. Semiology in architectural theory has two distinct directions. The first, that the architecture is a symbol within a given society. The second is that society and its cultural elements provide symbols or physical elements that can take on architectonic manifestations, inform image, or spatial manipulation. The first is analytic and used to define the meaning or language existing work conveys in the society. The latter is confined to the design process and allows the abstraction of cultural elements, particularly three-dimensional cultural artifacts, into a distinct architectural style. Both efforts are employed rigorously to establish an empirical basis for assessing existing historic and contemporary work to find its African origins. The design process is highly symbolic, establishing values or hierarchy based on place, purpose, client, user, cost, function, and many other associated variables. There are a multitude of ways to apply cultural variables in design. Dika Akwa, a Cameroonian anthropologist and contemporary of Cheikh Anta Diop, established the Mulongi system. The term Mulongi proceeds from longa, to build, hence longi, construction. It is used by Dika Akwa in the sense of a construction of rules, that is an architecture, constituting a system of knowledge in three axes: vertical time, horizontal space, oblique historicity, tied together at their point of intersection. Mulongi, as a multivariate paradigm, can be used to discern the reasons why and the methods how our African ancestors navigated throughout the continent and constructed dwellings in the respective environments that they encountered. Dika Akwa utilized Mulongi to affirm the relationship between classical and medieval African structures, as well as to provide a template for symbolographic analysis in African communication systems. In terms of established precedent, the oldest settlement forms in Upper Nubia are the earliest examples of classical African architecture, which can be seen throughout the African continent today. Some examples of the building systems in classical Africa are 1. Step Pyramid. 2. Zosa Complex at Saqqara. 3. Merkut at Giza. 4. Hamarkut at Giza. 5. Temple at Karnak. 6. Temple of Ramesu at Thebes. 7. Temple of Luxor. 8. Temple of Philae. 9. Abu Simbel. 10. Meroe. 11. Kerma. Some examples of the continuation of this architectural tradition in Inner Africa are 1. Dartichit Walata. 2. Great Zimbabwe. 3. Lorapini Ruins. 4. Great Wall of Benin. 5. Timbuktu Namdi Ele specifies the Kemetic house form as one of the earliest gable structures in the world. Here, King Nama sits on a royal chair on a raised platform. This contains many of the foundational elements of classical African architecture that are now seen in contemporary Africa. The first are adobe bricks. This important because the term adobe is a Met-Remenkimi loanword according to the research of Dr. Theophile Obenga. The next elements are vaulted roofs with ventilation, external stairs, moldings on top of framed openings, projecting sills, bioenvironmental mimicry, fractal proxemics, enclosed courtyard. Ambenjo, who refers to this as the Sudanese style, articulated its geographical extent, which can be found throughout the African continent. It includes the Sahelian corridor from Senegal to Cameroon and modern Sudan, the Savannah region of Angola, the Great Lakes region of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Malawi and Tanzania, as well as Mozambique, Zimbabwe and South Africa. In modern African architecture, you see traditional crafts and ornamentation processes in applying artifacts to architectural design. Local custom and practices also dictate occupancy standards of these building systems. Here are some contemporary examples. 1. Ouagadougou apartment building in Burkina Faso. 2. Institute of Culture in Bamako, Mali. 3. Ifan Center in Dakar, Senegal, with polychromatic designs. 4. Sports Palace, Bamako, Mali. 5. Bank of West African States, Central Marketplace in Burkina Faso. 6. Dogon Buildings in Bandiagara, Mali. 7. Port Elizabeth Family Estate. 8. Maseru Sun Cabanas in Maseru, Lesotho. 9. Basotho Hat in Maseru, Lesotho. 10. Central Bank of West African States, branch building and headquarters, and Vernacular Triangle Office Building in Dakar, Senegal. 11. Office building in Gaborone, Botswana. 12. Independence Square, Dakar, Senegal. Angle facade acts as sunscreen. 13. Dar es Salaam office building with colorful baffles as sun shading. University Auditorium building, University Chapel. 14. Bank building in Bamako, Mali. 15. Bobo Dialasso, Great Mosque in Burkina Faso. 16. Cathedral of the Martyrs in Kampala, Uganda. 17. Universal Chapel in Lesotho. 18. Catholic Church in Cairo. 19. ECOWAS Headquarters, Monument to the People, Sofitel International Hotel at Lome, Togo. 20. Miss Bengu Higher Primary School. 21. Cairo Apartment Building. 22. ZANU PF Headquarters. 23. Pentecostal Church, Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. 24. First National Bank, Gaborone. 25. Jomo Kenyatta Convention Center in Nairobi, Kenya. 26. Nairobi Hilton, Safari Club Hotel, Office Complex, Harambee Co-op Complex, University Church, Freedom Center. 27. Independence Monument Arusha, Tanzania. 28. Apartment Building, Sheraton Hotel, in Cotonou, Benin. 29. Private Residence Ségou, Mali. 30. Timbuktu Hospital. 31. Zambia University Building, Finiko Tower. There are many African cultural retentions in African American architecture. Many of the cabins, constructed by enslaved Africans in the South, contained many elements from the continent. In regards to the building materials and construction techniques employed in the construction of early slave houses, historians and folklorists have argued many different angles. Those focused on the Deep South and the Caribbean colonies emphasize the mud-walled, thatched-roofed slave cabins on the sugar and rice plantations. These cabins usually consisted of a 10 to 12-foot square floor plan, a high-pitched roof, 1 to 2 windows, and a chimney of stick and clay construction. Excavations of early slave houses at the Caribou and Yogan sites in South Carolina led many scholars to conclude that West African architectural traditions traversed the Atlantic through the minds of the slaves. The archaeologists that excavated the site speculated that evidence for such a technique or a similar technique, rammed earth architecture, is common throughout Africa, the presumed origin for some, if not all, of the inhabitants and probable builders of the structures at Kuribu and Yogan. Rammed earth techniques represent one of many mud wall methods, including cob walls, pise walls, and wattle and daub. Excavations of other southern sites, such as Cannon's Point Plantation, 1794 to 1860, also revealed mud-walled slave cabins. Leland Ferguson, Teresa Singleton, John Michael Vlach, and others have used the data from these excavations, along with historic documents, to argue that African, primarily West African building traditions did survive in the New World. Singleton actually goes as far as saying that architecture provides the best documentary evidence of enslaved Africans influencing their material world. They all illustrate that dirt floors, mud walls, and thatched roofs existed in regions of West Africa during the slave trade era, and the continuation of those distinctive African traits in America provided excellent proof of cultural transference and persistence. One of the prominent examples is the shotgun home, which originated among the Yoruba people of Nigeria and spread to Haiti as the Kaile before finally reaching the United States in the Louisiana area. Shotgun houses generally consist of a gabled front porch and 2 or more rooms laid out in a straight line. Rooms are directly connected without hallways. Shotgun houses may have derived their name from that room format, as it was sometimes said that a bullet shot from the front door would pass through the house without hitting anything and exit through the back door. However, the term may also be derived from togun, the Yoruba word meaning house or gathering place. Although shotgun houses are small, were inexpensively built, and generally lack amenities, they have been praised for their architectural virtues, which include the ingenious use of limited space and decoration such as gingerbread trim and brightly painted exteriors. They represent a unique African-American contribution to architecture in the United States. Here are some examples of African-American architecture with prominent African elements. 1. Olin Engineering Center, Harvey Library, Hampton University, grand entry and atrium with Afrocentric cosmogenic themes, designed by architect John H. Spencer. 2. University Towers, Howard University Dunbar High School, designed by Bryant and Bryant Architects. 3. Plymouth Congregation Church, Bible Ways Temple, U.S. Embassy Building in Madison, designed by Madison International Architects and Engineers. 4. Museum of Afro-American History, expansion of Cobo Hall Convention Center in Detroit, Michigan, designed by Sims Varner. 5. Grace Temple, Detroit, Michigan, designed by architect Nathan Johnson. 6. Governor Douglas Wilder Residence Hall, Hampton University, designed by architect John S. Chase. 7. College of Business, Steely G. Mudd Building College of Medicine, AME Church, 5th District Precinct Building, designed by Susan Campbell, of Brits Owens Architects. 8. Hot Sauce Williams Restaurant, designed by David Hughes. African architecture's pivotal role in modernization is deeply intertwined with the principles of pan-Africanism. By drawing inspiration from diverse cultural traditions and historical contexts, African architecture exemplifies the African spirit by emphasizing solidarity and cooperation among the continent's nations. The harmonious fusion of traditional styles and contemporary techniques not only reflects a shared heritage, but also reinforces the idea that a united Africa can leverage its collective strengths to overcome challenges and chart a revolutionary course. This will work to enhance the collective consciousness of the African continent and diaspora, to reaffirm our rich history and create a collective vision for a prosperous and unified future.